Welcome to Tulane campus in the beautiful Greer Field at Turchin Stadium for today's head coach introduction. Before we get started, I just want to remind members of the media and let you know that following the conclusion of this event, we'll have Mr. Rick Dickson and our new head coach, David Pierce, available for one-on-ones to the media. And then obviously we'd like to invite all of you out to Bruno's from 5 to 7 to meet the head coach, his staff, and his family. And now it's my privilege to introduce the Director of Athletics, Tulane University, Rick Dickson.
Thank you. Thought we'd wait just to the peak heat time of the day to have this. Good to have everybody here today, and let me just start out by saying, you know, going through a season like we have this past year, you know, brings to mind, first of all, as the people in the audience know, we had a young group of young men who faced some adversity and some challenges that you normally don't plan on coming into to play college sports. And the coach they had signed to play for and come to play for shortly after they got here, for health reasons, had to step down. So I want to just mention that because I really tip my hat to how those young men handled that and stood up to it. You know, there was a period of time where they were a little disoriented and a little bit lost, but they found their way out, and that speaks very highly of the kind of young men we have in our program. Secondly, in a situation like that, the staff has to step up and assume greater responsibilities. And starting with Brian, our ops person, and Shooter Hunt, who's a graduate of us and a former great player, as our volunteer coach. Those guys stepped up and took on greater roles. And then the next two guys, Chad Suter and Jake Gotro, who, as you guys know, are legendary members not only of this program, but a lot of the reasons and contributions to why we've had such a great program over the last decade and a half. And particularly for those two guys who are two of our Hall of Famers and two great members of what Tulane baseball stood for over the last quarter of a century. So to all those guys and those young men, I express my respect and appreciation and deep gratitude for what they did to get us through this difficult time. Now, that led us to where we are today, which was the second piece of this, was replacing an iconic coach. And when you replace somebody like Rick Jones, you know, you really have to bear down and make certain that what it is you're looking for matches up to the standard, to really the cornerstones of what this program's about. And in doing so, I think the things we said were, number one, we have to find someone that has been at some place similar to us, that knows what this university, what this place is about, what our culture's about, what our history's about, how we operate. And so that became one of the key criteria. Secondly, it had to be someone that had shown experience at recruiting and developing young men from the footprint that we recruit and have had a great history of. And that's, as most of you know, that's throughout the Gulf South, but it's also national when you're at a university like Tulane. And thirdly, it's somebody that had experience and contributed and been responsible for a high level of competitive success. So when we went through our search, and I got to tell you that you know, the first week of it, which there were a couple other things I was having to juggle, like our conference meetings and some fundraising trips, but from day one, the interest expressed nationally about this opportunity was very, very strong and remained so. That next week, we were able to boil it down to just a small group that we wanted to bring in here and dig deeper with. And we did that. But the person early on, I was very pleased first that he'd expressed interest, or the interest had been expressed early on, and it caused me to look deeper, find more out about him. And as we did so and went through the rest of the search, it became more and more apparent. This is all those things that I just mentioned in terms of understanding Tulane and having been at a place similar, developing and recruiting top-notch young men in our footprint throughout the country. And then third, experienced and contributed to the highest levels of competitive success. This is the person that stood above all. So I'm extremely pleased. I think people will enjoy getting to know him. I know you'll enjoy getting to support his program and our teams going forward. Because one of the things David said to me early on was, I've been in your part, and I've been in it when it's absolutely rocking and has as great a support as there is anywhere in the country. And we talked a lot about those series, that super regional, and those different times. And he's right. That's what we have here. And we've been able to show and establish that we can and should compete like that. We've got a great facility. We've got great history. We've got a great university to recruit to. And we've got a track record that shows that we can do it. So the key was getting to this point today with the right person. And we've done so. So it's my great pleasure first to introduce, I know coaches, we always forget these things, but brought his beautiful family with him that he'll introduce to you. But I'm supposed to present Miss Susan. You're welcome to Tulane here. Already put a little pressure on you, Dave, on there. And we're glad to have Shay and Marissa with us. But you came to meet this man, and it's a great pleasure that I introduce our head baseball coach, David Pierce.
You actually took the pressure off of me. Now I don't have to buy the flowers. Thank you so much, Rick. So many things that are happening in the last couple of weeks, and the excitement and the thrill of being here, it's just unbelievable. But I'd really like to thank the family of Sam Houston State first, and our athletic department, athletic director, Bobby Williams. I'd really like to thank Dana Gibson, our president, and the community, and really the support staff and the fans there, but mostly the players there that played for me the last 3 years. Not only those players, but the players that I've hopefully had some touch and some feel of their lives at Rice University, University of Houston, and 12 years in high school baseball. It's just been a tremendous run, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be here with my family. Rick mentioned, but my wife, Susan, has been with me from the very beginning. Truly, we were high school sweethearts. We dated for 7 years, and at that point I either had to marry her or dump her, and I decided to marry her, or her dump me, and fortunately we did all right. We've been together for 29 years, and it's been unbelievable. She is the rock, and as she says constantly, I am a work in progress, so I will continue to be that work in progress. My kids are awesome. Chelsea is 24 years old, and she's a dancer in Los Angeles in a dance studio company called Diablo. She travels the world, and fortunately she's in a period right now that she could be here. And then Shay is a player for me at Sam Houston State, started at second base for us, and he's on his way to Florida to play summer ball. So everything worked out perfect for these guys to be here, and I'm extremely excited to have them. One other thing that I really requested for this press conference was something I didn't know that was going to develop, and that was to have the extension of my family, which is also my coaching staff, and two of the three are here. Coach Sean Allen, stand up, Coach. Coach Sean Allen. Coach is in his 13th year of Division I baseball, and he's a very young coach. Great experience, and the players are going to really respond to him. My other assistant coach, Coach Philip Miller, is also just an extension of my family. These guys will make the transition much easier for Tulane baseball players and for the staff, and the many people that we're going to get to meet and be involved with in this community. My third assistant had to stay back home and run camp, Coach Phil Haig, and he's finishing up camp, but he will also be joining us. I am very and extremely excited to be here today, and I'd like to thank President Scott Cowan. I would like to thank Rick Dickson and the entire Tulane family for welcoming me and my family to this great university and this great city of New Orleans. Tulane has always been a program that I have great respect for. I have been in the opposite dugout of many games and many battles when I was with the University of Houston and Rice University. But now to have the opportunity to wear the olive and green and lead this great team and this great university is truly a dream come true. Over the past 47 years, Tulane has been led by 3 great coaches, most recently by Coach Rick Jones, who has led the Green Wave to 2 College World Series appearances and many conference titles. I look forward to continuing the tradition that he has started and the success of bringing Tulane baseball back to the great times. I truly appreciate Coach Jones and his staff for the competition that we've had, and I truly believe he's going to be missed in our industry, but at the same time, I truly believe that he has made his footprints not only at Tulane University, but in the world of college baseball, and I thank him for that. I just was so fortunate to just recently meet Coach Retief, and I appreciate you being here and the support of the Tulane, and not only Tulane, but supporting me and my family. It means a lot, Coach. I also got a phone call today from Coach Brokoff, and when I look back at the history of this university in just the past 47 years and only 3 coaches, and one of them's here, the other one's local, well, the other 2 are local. I get a phone call from one, and I've been texting and talking to Coach Jones for the entire week. So I understand the support that's possible here. I've been fortunate to be involved with many winning teams and many regional teams, and fortunately won a national championship and understand the blueprint of winning at that level. We've been very fortunate to play in many regionals, and that is the goal, to set our standards so high and our expectations to strive for the pinnacle of the national championship. And that's what we'll strive for day in and day out. I've had the opportunity to coach great players at the University of Houston, Rice University, and Sam Houston State. Guys such as Joe Savory, a great 2-way player that played in that 2005 regional as a freshman and broke his arm. And he actually laid a drag bunt down to score a run because he couldn't hit at the time. The great heart that he showed, and the ability to play both as a pitcher and a position player. And the great Anthony Rendon at Rice University, a first rounder by the Washington Nationals. And most recently with Sam Houston State, our stoic catcher, which Coach Miller has so much to do with, Anthony Rendon, of being the player of our conference and being such a great leader. Those are the types of players and the caliber of recruits I expect here at Tulane University. I've seen it in the past with the likes of Juries and Gautreaux and Aubrey. And I remember those days in the 05 Super Regional when we faced Bogušević and Micah Owens, and we took Tulane to the 3rd game, and they prevailed and ended up advancing in the College World Series. Those are the exciting days that I remember at Tulane, and those are the days that I expect to bring back to Tulane University and Tulane baseball. It's not going to be done by me. It's going to be done by us. And it's going to be done for Tulane baseball players. And then we want to put them on a pinnacle and give them every opportunity to succeed on and definitely off of the field for the rest of their lives. We truly are all in this together, from our administration, the great support of Rick and the great support of Dr. Cowan. And the foundation is set. It's our job to come in and continue to cultivate, continue to coach each and every individual on our team the best that we can, and give them every opportunity to succeed. Our job is to really try to put them in the best position to be successful. So we're looking very much looking forward to that. I truly can't wait to get here and get to work, and I'm truly thrilled to be here. I couldn't be happier or more excited about being the next head coach at Tulane University. Thank you, and roll wave.
All right, once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and we will now have one-on-one available with the media with Mr. Dickson and Coach Pierce, and then we'll see everybody in a few minutes at Bruno's.